Hello my friend, in today's video we will take a look at the best consumer and action cameras that you can buy in 2020. There is a wide variety of devices available, so for the purposes of this video I have defined this category as cameras that have sensors smaller than 1 inch and can fit into a pocket. After many years, GoPro is still a benchmark and the one to beat, so let's start with Hero 8. After 3 generations with very subtle changes, Hero 8 finally brought some more significant design updates. Probably the most useful one is the integrated finger mount. Despite that it is not the most solid mount, it is a very good idea in my opinion. GoPro has been continually improving their image quality over the years, and the Hero 8 just shoots great 4K video. The video is very detailed, and it looks a bit less like action camera video once again. That was partially achieved by the new lens, which has less distortion and better optical qualities. On the other hand, it is no longer user replaceable, which is a significant downgrade. Stabilization has been the main selling point of GoPro cameras since Hero 6, and on Hero 8 it is indeed excellent. Again, it crops a bit more, it is a bit smoother, and it is great overall, so there is not much more that I can say about that. So-called digital lenses let you choose different angles and fix the distortion even more, but there is a much better way to do that, as I will show you with the next camera. Display and user interface are a bit 2015. Calculator style front screen is also a missed opportunity to be even more popular with vloggers. So is the Hero 8 innovative enough? The next camera on the list in my opinion suggests that the answer is no. Insta360 One R proved that there is still a lot of room for innovation in action cameras. It is a very interesting concept of a platform with interchangeable camera modules. It always consists of the core, battery base, and the camera module. At the moment you can choose 4K mode, 360 mode, or the most interesting, which is 1 inch mod. This obviously increases versatility, but it is still not the main reason why I like One R so much. What I actually like the most about One R is the file system. One R can shoot video in proprietary .insv format, which has 2 advantages. The first one is that it makes it possible to choose the field of view after you shot the footage. That makes much more sense than guessing the right field of view on GoPro screen and having no chance to fix that. The second advantage is that it is also how the flow state stabilization is applied. One R basically collects the information from internal gyroscope and it uses that to stabilize the footage. The efficiency is basically the same as with Hero 8, but it looks more like optical image stabilization or in-body image stabilization, and it is not affected by low light. The image quality of 4K mode is also very similar to Hero 8, which is definitely a success. I also like the colors, and Insta360 has a properly flat lock setting for post-processing. Another reason why I picked up this camera is the 1 inch mod. As the name suggests, it uses 1 inch sensor combined with 14.4mm f3.2 lens. In terms of the image quality, it is a level above the GoPro. 5.3K video from this combination just looks fantastic. With 1 inch mod, you can basically have the convenience of GoPro and image quality of RX100, which is kind of a new situation. The only disadvantage is that the minimum focus distance is about 80 cm, so it is not suitable for vlogging. The screen is also very small, but on the positive side, you can rotate it to see yourself. The third major action camera contender is DJI Osmo Action. As a concept, it definitely feels more modern than the GoPro. It has a larger screen, another front screen for vlogging, threaded lens protector, and much better user interface. The image quality is comparable with Hero 7, which was the latest generation when the Osmo Action came out. Now that the Hero 8 is out, I would say that GoPro has taken the lead back, but only by a tiny bit. A significant issue is the lag on the screen when you are using rock-steady stabilization. That was improved, but not fully fixed. It also doesn't have sharpening settings, so if you want to avoid over-sharpening, you need to use flat Cine-like setting. The stabilization is again similar to Hero 7, so the Hero 8 is a little bit ahead, but there is not a huge difference. There are also no options to change the field of view. You can only turn the dewarp feature on or off. I think that it is still a very good action camera. Especially those screens, user interface and the build quality are excellent. It may not be quite as innovative as the One R, but it is still a valid alternative to GoPro Hero 8. If I'm making a video about the best consumer cameras, there just has to be DJI Osmo Pocket on the list. With the Osmo Pocket, DJI basically found a way to combine 26mm focal length, gimbal stabilization, and outstanding image quality in a package that can indeed fit into a pocket. Surprisingly good image quality is the main reason why it is a valid and successful camera. The 4K video just looks great. It is not overprocessed HDR videos like with smartphones, it has relatively large 1/2.3-inch sensor, pretty good lens, and it produces excellent colors in Cine-like setting. All of the cameras that I mentioned before have great stabilization, but gimbal is a different type of stabilization. It can keep the horizon leveled, it can smooth out movements, make precise panning with the controller wheel, track an object, and so on. That means that the gimbal can never be replaced by optical image stabilization, in-body image stabilization, or digital stabilization. 26mm focal length would also be much more difficult to stabilize digitally, and the crop would be very noticeable. Some people would like a wider lens, but the whole point of this concept is to stabilize non-ultra wide angle footage. If you still want to occasionally shoot ultra wide footage, Freewell makes very good 18mm lens. A huge advantage of the Osmo Pocket in comparison with normal gimbals is that there is no setup and balancing procedure. You can just press the button and it is ready in 3 seconds. Unlike the previous devices, Osmo Pocket has autofocus, but it is great after the firmware updates, so I have no complaints about that. Some people say that it should have had integrated wireless capabilities, controller wheel, microphone input, and so on, but personally I like it exactly as it is. Making it larger and more complicated would defeat the primary purpose of the Osmo Pocket. There is also a wide variety of Osmo Pocket accessories that can significantly increase its versatility. I have recently made a long-term review of Osmo Pocket and it will also be linked in the description. FIMI Palm is similar to the Osmo Pocket in some ways, but it is generally competing more with GoPro type action cameras. The reason for that is that unlike the Osmo Pocket, Palm shoots ultra-wide footage. The main difference is obviously a method of stabilization. FIMI Palm also uses gimbal, which works very well. Just like with the Osmo Pocket, it gives you more options than digital stabilization. The image quality is actually very good. It is just slightly behind the Hero 8 and One R, but the video is still very crisp and I like the colors a lot. It can only shoot 4K 30p, which I don't mind that much, but 4K 60p would be nice. It also has an integrated joystick, which is convenient, but it is nowhere near as precise to use as the controller wheel on the Osmo Pocket. It has integrated wireless functionality though, so that is nice. I think that the main strength of FIMI Palm is the possibility to create complex shots thanks to the gimbal, and if you can take advantage of that, it could be a valid alternative to action cameras. One more Osmo Pocket device that I've tested is Snoppa Vmate. That is unfortunately just a very cruel joke on those who pre-ordered one. Unfortunately, the firmware updates didn't fix anything. The image quality is very poor due to processing, colors are completely off, and the autofocus is terrible. That one definitely doesn't belong on my best consumer cameras list, and I just recommend buying Osmo Pocket instead. The third type of consumer cameras that I will cover in this video are compact cameras. Representing this category is the best all-round camera that can still fit into a regular pocket, and that is Sony RX100 VII. I have recently made a review of this camera and I was especially impressed by the sensor performance and the autofocus. The image quality is excellent in both stills and video. Dynamic range on this new BSI 1-inch sensor is actually very similar to larger Micro Four Thirds sensors. It uses 24 to 200mm full-frame equivalent zoom lens. As always, that is a compromise between the reach and the brightness, which is not great at f7.5 to 12 full-frame equivalent. The zoom range is great though. It goes from wide to mid telephoto, so it is suitable for anything from landscapes to less demanding sports shooting. RX100 VII has one of the best autofocus systems of any camera that I've ever tested. It is extremely fast and accurate in both stills and video, tracking is great, and it won't fail no matter what. It also has very solid lens stabilization. Besides that, it has active image stabilization mode, which uses the height of the sensor to digitally stabilize vertical movement without cropping. This will also be available on A7S III. RX100 VII can shoot beautiful 4K video with no crop up to 30p. It also has all of Sony's picture profiles, so it is very suitable for color grading. Due to the price, it is definitely a niche camera for those who want the best all-round usable camera that can still fit into a pocket. Unfortunately, this, Mark VI and Mark V-A are the only compact cameras that I can recommend. I have also tested Canon G7X Mark III, but I can't recommend that one. If you are wondering why, take a look at my G7X III and iPhone 11 Pro comparison video linked in the description. So these were, in my opinion, the best consumer and action cameras available in mid-2020. The two that stand out in my opinion are Insta360 One R and DJI Osmo Pocket. One R has both some great innovations just when we thought that there is no room for improvements in action cameras. Especially the 1-inch mode is very impressive. 360 mode can turn it into 360 camera, and 4K mode is good for all-round use. .insv file system gives it additional capabilities. For those reasons, it is my most favorite action camera. Osmo Pocket combines 26mm focal length, gimbal stabilization, and outstanding image quality in a package that can fit into a pocket. It is easy to use, gimbal gives you a lot of creative options, and there is no need to set it up like a smartphone gimbal. That is why it is my most favorite pocket gimbal. For me personally, 26mm focal length is more all-round useful than ultra-wide footage, so I prefer it over FIMI Palm. If you prefer ultra-wide footage, FIMI is also a very good device. So that's it for this video, thank you for watching, I hope that you liked this video and that you found it to be useful. Stay tuned for more videos and maybe consider subscribing if you don't want to miss my future content. I appreciate your feedback in form of thumbs up or thumbs down. If you would like to ask anything or share your opinion, please do so in the comment section, and see you next time.